It's funny.
Uh,
I did a Zoom this morning, and I've done
Hang on
di-
for a second. I've got to start.
right.
I'll tell you what, today we've been having gremlins. I don't know about you, but anybody else out there, please let me know. But we've been having gremlins on here, or my other guests have been having gremlins. And did you have some gremlins just now, Susan? Did you?
Well, I don't know what it was, but yeah, I guess so. So yeah, absolutely. At least we're here, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you were here.
a
Yeah,
struggle.
yeah. Anyway, what I was telling you earlier was that it was so funny. My carers came in, and I went into the shower, and my hair was sticking out, and I thought, what is he, an alien or what? You know what I mean? So I've got the hairdresser coming tomorrow, so I'm an happy man. Um, and my hair's gone back down again. I shouldn't have touched it today.
You look like you're nearly cultivating a Mohican down the
Well,
middle.
yeah. I'm thinking about doing it, but don't worry about it. It happens. It always happens to me. Anyway, yes. So tonight I want to talk about when you need a good night's sleep. No, we all need a good night's sleep, don't we, Susan?
Well, it's interesting that 90% of adults say they don't get enough sleep. So the truth is, I mean, I talk a lot about sleep, and one of the things I say is some people will say, oh, I get 7, 8 hours sleep a night. As far as I'm concerned, it's not the amount of time, it's not the volume, it's the quality of the sleep that you have. Because some people, particularly people with depression, can sleep for ages, they can sleep for hours, they don't even want to get up in the morning, they still feel wrecked. So
Mm.
it's the actual quality of sleep that you have. And as far as I'm concerned, the stuff that I work with is about ensuring that people take care of themselves. So, but by the time they go to bed, they're not crashing out or desperately in
Mm.
need of
Mm.
sleeping or resting or whatever it might be. That there are things that we can do to help ourselves sort that out. Because, as I say, if 90% of the population are struggling to get a good night's sleep, do you know in 2018, stress and sleep related issues cost UK businesses £40 billion. It's the equivalent of
Oof.
200,000 days lost productivity through that whole thing of not sleeping properly, of being stressed out, of being distracted, perhaps accident prone, poor concentration, not fit enough to
Mm.
turn in for work. So the impact of stress and sleep is huge on our well-being, on the economy, on everything, and particularly at the moment with so much uncertainty and stress and issues around, it's especially important that we take good care of ourselves.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like I'm on sleep apnea at the moment, so I've got to wear a mask and everything every time I go to bed and everything. And at first, when I first had it, I couldn't sleep at all. I was having problems and everything. And all of a sudden, when I started having it, then I could sleep like a log. But what my wife says now is that it's not you snoring, Steve. It's the damn machine because the machine
Oh,
makes a noise too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but getting back to sleep, the trouble is sometimes when you're depressed, like when I used to go through depression, I found it very difficult to sleep. And when I get to a point of when I was feeling tired, I used to sleep through the day. Is that, it's so how can we get a good night's sleep?
Well, you're talking about two or three different things there. You're talking about medical conditions, you're talking about depression, and you're talking about, in inverted commas, normal desire to get a
Yeah.
good night's sleep. So that's several things that are going on in that particular question. I think if we're with somebody who has a health related condition, so that can impact on lots of different things. If we're partnered with somebody who has a health related issue or condition. They may be snoring. They may have restless legs due to medication. They may be getting up in the night several times. They may be thrashing about. So sometimes in a situation like that, no matter how much we love each other, there can be an argument for saying, let's sleep in separate rooms.
Mm,
Um, or certainly have separate beds anyway, so that both of you get the best night's sleep that you possibly can have, and
mm,
certainly your partner doesn't end up feeling irritable, fractious, fed up, frustrated, out of sorts. So sometimes there can be an argument for doing that, and that also applies with people who perhaps are shift workers.
mm.
Or you might have somebody who, one person likes the bedroom aired and cool, and the other one wants it more warm and cozy. So there can be lots of different factors in there. So keeping different hours. If you have a newborn child, somebody might have to get up throughout the night or have volunteered to do that. It's their turn. And so in that sense, there's different reasons why we might choose to have separate beds, separate bedrooms. I think the thing about, for under normal circumstances, for somebody getting a good night's sleep, I think there are several things that we can do. And one is treat sleep as important. You often find that busy people, stressed out people, preoccupied people may be racing around like crazy throughout the day. And then when it gets to bedtime, they're like, oh my goodness me. And they're looking at the watch or the clock or the phone, and they're crashing into bed and going, sleep, sleep. This is my next job. This is the next chore. This is the next thing I have to do.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they can't still their brain. They can't still their mind. So we may have to think about winding down for an hour or two before we go to bed. We might sort of switch off our phone and say, unless there's an emergency, unless I'm dealing with some very specific issues, I'm going to turn off my phone or my work phone, and I'm going to wind down for a couple of hours. I might go and have a bit of a walk around the block. I
Mm,
might drink a bit less booze. I might have a shower and imagine myself washing away the cares of the day and watch them go down the plug hole and almost visualize that happening, or have a nice relaxing bath or something. So there are different ways that we can prepare and focus on treating sleep as an important part, an important contribution to our well-being, to our mental health, to our physical health, and to our general mood for every day when we're waking up and feeling a bit brighter and positive. So that's one tip anyway. That's one quite a decent tip,
mm.
you know?
Yeah. See, what happens here in our house? So if we in our bedroom, we've got television in the bedroom in the corner, but we haven't got much furniture. So what we do is sometimes my wife will put like she will light a candle, not a scented candle,
Yeah.
and she will sometimes like open a window, say,
Okay.
okay, for air and things like that, or she will kind of like probably sometimes change some furniture around,
Okay.
you know. Um,
Well, whatever feels good for you. I'm not a fan of having TVs in the bedroom. As far as I'm concerned, there's only a couple of things supposed to happen in the bedroom, and one of them is sleeping. So, getting all your tech out the bedroom, if some people have to have a mini office in there. And if you are working in your bedroom because you've got space limitations, try really hard to screen it off at the end of the day. But don't have your phone near your bed. Don't have your computer near your bed. Because there's always that temptation, particularly people who are working from home at the minute, and there's so many more of us doing that,
yeah,
to
yeah.
keep checking in. Oh, I'll just have a look. I'll just see what's on social media. I'll just see if I've got any emails. I'll just see what's happened to that piece of work. So have some discipline about that and screen off the area where you work. Another thing about people who work from home and have offices at home it is often difficult to actually stop at the end of the day. People tend to think, because they're there, that they should be 24 hours available. So that thing about having a proper finish time, and maybe do something that signifies that your working day is over now. So maybe
Mm,
have a jacket that you wear when you're working and put it on the back of the chair and shut the door, or get up and
mm,
go for a walk around the block and do something that says, right, that's it now. So you're telling yourself mentally and
mm,
physically, I've defined my day, I'm over now. Because for a lot of people, the drive home would often have been or the run home or the cycle home would often have been the big thick line at the end of the day,
mm.
where they were then focusing on starting their evening. And often for a lot of us now, we've lost that.
Yeah.
But treating your bedroom as an oasis. Have your bedroom as an oasis of calm, where when you go, you shut the door. As I say, if you have a workstation there, you screen it off, you put your stuff away if you can, whatever you do. But you then have your bedroom, so it's calm, it's feels good. You go there, you shut the door, you feel cozy, safe. You maybe read a book, you have time to chat with each other or be cozy together or whatever it might be. But you have those things rather than lying there watching TV and falling asleep. And I think that can be a mistake. I know a lot of people like
Mm,
having the TV in the bedroom, but personally, I think, maybe a bit of relaxing music,
mm,
maybe a nice scented candle that's safely lit, so that it'll, when it dies down, it's okay, it's safe. But doing things like that make
mm.
your place feel clean sheets. I mean, when people are asked what one of their favorite things in the whole wide world is, very high up on the list are clean sheets.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
clean diva cover, clean sheets, whatever it might be, that can often be a really nice thing. So
Mm.
treating your bedroom as a special place is another really important thing to do.
Yeah, we all like clean sheets, I'm telling you now.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. It's put the sheets on, getting into bed, and you feel much better, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
the trouble is, though, some of us, well, some people who work, they come back, and because they've had a day, or because they've been so busy, some people can't switch off, can they? Really?
No, and that's one reason why I suggest that we perhaps do something to define our work day.
Mm,
So, yes, there might be things going on, and occasionally, as I say, there can be emergencies, things that are on a very tight deadline, or phone calls that you're really waiting to hear, or information that's needed desperately. But in the main, try very hard to have a routine where you do say, this is it now. And this is perhaps where friends and family, if we've got them, can come into their own, where we do enjoy having conversations with our friends and family if we're living with people, or we make time for phone calls or Zoom connections and having a bit of fun, particularly at the moment where we agree to join in those quiz evenings on the Zoom, or we do the dance parties, or we perhaps even attend fun networking events in the evening or something, but which have a lighter touch, which bring a
mm,
little bit of fun into our lives, which, and also perhaps even share with our friends or family if we do have struggles. So we share, because often sharing how we're feeling, somebody else might chip in with a good piece of advice or say, hey, you're not on your own. I know exactly how you're feeling. And that in itself can be quite reassuring and comforting. So using our relationships, allowing our friendships to be supportive for us, for them, and them for us. And that again can add comfort, relaxation, a nice way of switching off at the end of the day. These are important things to do.
mm, mm. You got some good advice because I was reading your notes today, and as I was going through all your notes, I thought, yeah, why weren't we doing that before? And
Yeah.
it's really good, some advice on there.
Well, the
Um,
thing is, a lot of what I say is common sense. A lot of what I say isn't, aren't people aren't going to go, my goodness me, that I've never thought of that. Most people will go, oh God, of course, why don't I do that? Why don't I turn off my phone? Why do I, if I'm going to have a serious conversation with my partner about something that's really bugging me, don't do
mm,
it 5 minutes before bedtime.
mm.
Say to each other, look, I'm a bit bothered. I'm feeling a bit uptight. Do you mind if we find a convenient time to have a chat about this? Because the trouble is, if we have, just as we're crashing into bed, I go, do you know, I'm really peed off with you about such a thing, and you did this and that, you know. the other person's obviously going to go defensive. Then we end up with
Yeah, that's true.
examples. Then we end up with another hour and a half, and both of
Yeah,
us have got stuff on our mind. So
yeah.
it's scheduling stuff in the right way at the right time, and just thinking about what we're doing, exercising, fresh air, eating healthily. All these are really, really important things to do, and it's important to think about your sleep as an important part of your day, like you would with anything else. Tend to
Mm,
yourself, look after yourself, be supportive of yourself.
that's it. Yeah, that's all it's about. Um, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Number one, I know some people who take a book to bed. What do you think of that?
I think I prefer a book to a TV. I think reading a book is, well, TV is a passive thing which is stimulating our brains. A book, we have to use our imagination, and I don't know many people who get past a couple of pages. So I know whenever I've taken a book to bed, I've ended up having to reread the same pages for the next 2 or 3 weeks because I fall asleep halfway through. So, I mean, the difference between a book and a television is a television feeds us everything.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
get all the special effects, we get all the stimulus, we get the everything is going on, and the pictures and imagery and everything. With a book, we have to construct it ourselves in our
Mm,
imagination. We have to imagine the street. We have to fill in the gaps of the scenery and all the rest of
mm,
it. So I think a book can be quite a useful thing to do, and it can be quite therapeutic, depending on the book you're reading. But
mm,
at the end of the day, finding something that you enjoy doing, and rather than taking work to bed with you, or watching a TV program or something like that, it's far better to have a book, a nice, relaxing book that you start and you enjoy, and you read a page or two, and then put it down, and that's fine. I think that's a nice
mm.
thing to do.
How about a mobile phone?
They, as far as I'm concerned, they should be relegated to the far end of the bedroom on charge, or turn it off, because the light can be impactful on our sleep. If it dings, if we're getting messages and WhatsApps and updates and all the rest of it, they're there. It can be tempting if we wake up to reach out and have a look and see what's happened, how many likes we've got on Insta or whatever. I don't know, whatever it might
Yeah.
be. So we don't need that kind of stimulus. And in truth, there's rarely anything that's going to happen that can't be looked at when you get up the next morning. So constantly checking in on our phone, on our updates, on our media socials and whatever is unnecessary, and it keeps your brain engaged and
Mm,
keeps you stressed and keeps that animation going. Even if you go to the loo in the night, don't bother, don't have a look. Just leave it alone. And I leave my phone on charge on the landing overnight, and I might hear it ping occasionally, but that's it. Fine, I'll look tomorrow and see what it is.
mm, yeah. How about the radio?
Well, at the end of the day, so depending again on what you're listening to, if you're listening to the news overnight, then maybe that's going to be feeding unconsciously stress stuff,
Mm,
because the news is usually about something negative that's happening. They're not going to be saying your next door neighbor turned up with a bunch of roses and or whatever, and everybody's smiling. It's usually bad news. It's
mm,
usually nasty stats or stuff that's happening or disharmony or whatever it is. And so unless you're listening to a nice, I mean, I know some people who listen to the what they call the shipping warnings, the ship updates, the shipping forecasts, and they find that quite therapeutic. So it's finding what works for you. But again, as I say, it's a good idea not to be linking in with something that adds too much stimulus to you mentally, because even if you're not actively listening to it consciously, there's a part of you is listening, your
mm,
unconscious
mm,
mind is listening. And actually, in truth, research into sleep has found that we wake up or we stir every 90 minutes or so. So when you see these films of people in sleep labs and they're monitoring what's happening to people's sleep, every hour, 90 minutes or so, people turn and move, and you kind of vaguely
yeah,
wake
yeah.
up, and you maybe hear a noise, you may hear the central heating clicking on, or you may hear the next door neighbor or the whatever, something happening. So we do kind of stir every so often and maybe move or whatever. So having just doing things that support you to continue sleeping and get that deep level
Mm,
of restful sleep that you need.
mm. I mentioned those three things because that's what mainly what people do. They they either take their phone to bed, a book to bed, or a radio to bed. I
Yeah.
remember when I used to take a radio to bed, and I used to listen to love songs or whatever it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
things to get or music, and it used to get me to sleep, But um,
I think the thing with routines, though, I mean, one thing about sleep is it's good to have a routine.
mm,
So people who say they're perhaps struggling to sleep perhaps need to think about having a routine. So a regular routine where your unconscious mind knows, and this is particularly important for children, but even for ourselves, where we know that a couple of hours before I'm going to bed, right, I'm going to start winding down. Right, I'm going to
mm,
go and have a shower, maybe change into my PJs or whatever it is you're wearing, maybe just go and walk the dog at last walk, or whatever it is you start doing, where you start prepping your stuff for tomorrow, getting you, I don't know, some people get the clothes out or maybe do the packed lunch or something. Those things that you do that are part of your routine last thing at night. So
mm,
doing those things, it is convenient and helpful, but it also lets your unconscious mind know, right, it's what I call end of day gathering. It's wind
mm,
down time. It's pre bedtime. So you go and take that shower or that relaxing bath. But if
mm,
you set yourself good routines up and they become a regular part of your day, of your habit, then you are setting yourself in a good
mm,
way. So if you always get used to, having 3 glasses of whiskey, or you always get used to, listening to rock music or really loud, heavy stuff, or having a bit of a go at
oh,
your partner or something, these things can cause you to have bad dreams or restless
mm,
sleep or have things preying on your mind or
mm,
whatever it might be. So it's good to have good, positive things that you do every day that you set into place that educate you into going, okay, I'm thinking about sleeping now. And when you have a good night's sleep, everybody knows that you wake up the next day feeling bright eyed and bushy tailed. You're ready for the day ahead. You may have a new insight on a problem that you had yesterday. How many
mm,
people say, sleep on it? Don't make a hasty decision today. Sleep on it, see how you feel in the morning. You may have a different view. And
mm,
often we do. So a good
mm,
night's sleep can add real value to your
mm.
day, where you are waking up feeling better about a problem or something that you had to make a choice about, or a new insight over something that you were struggling with. A good night's sleep can make a real difference to that. So it's
Of
important to
course, yeah,
support
yeah.
yourself with that.
I I was reading too about putting scented oils on the pillow.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were mentioning that as well, and
yeah,
that could be something else because
yeah.
so that could be.
Lavender, and various other night things that make a difference for you. Essential oils are really nice. Some people will massage them onto the wrist, perhaps, or the forehead. Um, Actually on the pillow is a nice thing to do, but all part of things that you're doing to educate yourself to say, hey, this is me, on wind down, this is me, fresh sheets, nice scented oils on the pillow. All these things can make a real difference and make you feel very good about yourself. Having a regular massage where you are treating your body well, and then you're freeing a lot of the tensions out, the different muscles in your body. All those sorts of things can be really special, but giving you some me time to breathe. I mean, some people like to practice yoga, do some stretches before they go to bed. These things can
Mm,
again make a difference. Even if you
mm,
spend 10 minutes doing it, you're not losing 10 minutes from your sleep time, but you're adding some de-stressed body exercises that help you feel a
mm,
bit better when you actually do go to bed. So again, important things to do.
mm. Um, I never go to bed on an argument. Don't like it.
Yeah.
We always sort our differences out before we go to bed. Every if we have an argument, everything in the house goes off. The
Okay.
television, everything, and we sort our differences out, and then we switch it back on, because
Okay.
that we do that so that we don't kind of like there's no influences around us. You know what I mean? So we
Okay.
can concentrate on each other. But sometimes arguments linger on and linger on, and when you go to bed, you're still arguing in bed. And the
Mm.
trouble is, it's there in the morning, and one of you, or it might be two of you, could not have no sleep at all. You're just stressed, and you're getting up. You know, you're probably going to the loo, or like you're putting the kettle on, or someone who smokes probably go outside for a cigarette. I don't do none of that, but you know what I mean. It's so
Yeah.
could be stressful, couldn't it?
Well, I think this is the thing that it depends how people argue. It sounds like you two do it in a very constructive way, but some couples will have a situation where both people, both partners are not equally matched. So you might have one person in a relationship who's perhaps more dominant or argumentative or treated as being more intelligent or more articulate in the way they communicate. So the other person perhaps feels a lesser able to contribute, so keeps quiet or can't think as quickly or doesn't come back with the comments and rejoinders that the first person does. So they learn to keep quiet. And it
Mm,
depends on the dynamic in a relationship. So sometimes having undercurrents, often undercurrents are a signifier that something else is going on. So one person might be annoyed or upset or irritated that their partner didn't say thank you. That was a lovely meal this evening. It might sound trivial, but to the person who didn't hear any appreciation, they may feel disrespected, undervalued, treated with disdain, uh, taken for granted, and it can be quite a tough thing. And so them saying to their partner, "You didn't say thank you for the meal." Their partner can say, "Oh, what's the matter with you? Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? Of course I liked it. I ate it, didn't I?" And
mm,
so, and the quieter person might not have a quick, smart answer to come back to that.
mm,
Saying, "Oh, I just wanted you to appreciate your dinner," sounds pathetic, perhaps. So, but when we actually drill down and we say, actually, there are other examples, but I don't want to give loads of examples now. But I'm beginning to feel that you don't value me, or I'm beginning to feel that you don't appreciate me, or I'm beginning to feel that I don't really count, or I'm not regarded as an equal contributor or something. And sometimes we have to look at the substance that's going on in our relationship and make sense of why we feel hurt, make sense of what's going on. And then when we have that conversation with our partner, we're able to talk about the real deal, the real stuff that's going on, not just about somebody who didn't say thank you for a meal.
mm,
And
mm,
it is about it's about getting to the nitty gritty, but doing that before you go to bed is not the best time. And sometimes saying, "Can we have a chat Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon, Friday evening or something when we finish work and we've got a few days ahead," and setting aside time, perhaps going for a walk together, and you're in a neutral place that doesn't have an association, and you're on your own, so there's nobody else chipping in, but you've thought through what your points are, you've thought through what you want to say, and you're both in a calm place and can talk about it. And so
mm,
for some people, doing that, if they have got significant things going on or even trivial things, but they have a semblance of importance about them, setting aside proper time to do that is a real crucial thing to do.
mm. It's very important, isn't it? Like you got to kind
Yes.
of, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Um, my last question is this: that some of us kind of like when we do kind of get some, when we do go to bed, get some sleep and everything. Sometimes we feel so stressed out. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We go to bed, we feel so stressed out, and sometimes we keep waking up during the night. And how can people kind of like deal with that?
Well, I think it depends what's stressing us out. I think we have to stop and say, what am I stressed out about? For some people, if they have an awful lot of stuff going on in their head, a simple thing like a list can be very useful.
Yeah.
So if we take everything that, write down every single thing that's on our mind, write down every single thing we need to do tomorrow or in the next week or two, write it all down. And then if you find yourself churning it over in your mind, you can actually say, stop, you're on my list. I don't need to think about you. And that can become a discipline. That can become a useful thing to do. I think the other thing is that you often find that people who work manually, have a heavy manual job, perhaps don't get enough exercise mentally. And people who have heavy mental jobs inside offices, calculations, statistics, all that kind of thing, maybe don't get enough exercise physically. So we need
Mm,
to think about, am I out of balance in some way? Do I need to do a quiz evening? Do I need to, do crosswords, Sudoku, and have interesting conversations and watch intelligent documentaries or something? Or do I need to go to the gym or have a run or something? So
mm,
finding ways to find that balance, walk the dog or whatever it might be.
yeah,
I think some people can feel lonely. People who live alone can feel lonely, and it's finding ways to counterbalance that. So maybe find friendship groups that you can connect with, maybe online groups, or maybe make a habit of phoning a friend in an evening, make yourself a brew, sit down, both of you organize it. You've got a bit of time spare, you've made an appointment with each other, you've allowed the time, and then you can feel connected with other people and that you have somebody to share
mm,
what's going on with. So, that can be a useful thing to do if we are stressed out and feeling that we've got issues and things that are cooking away there, and help us relax and let go of that before we go to bed.
brilliant. Thank you for all your advice.
My pleasure.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. It always goes quick, doesn't it?
I know.
Every time.
Well, if there's lots of stuff on my website,
Yeah,
lifestyletherapy.net. You're welcome to go on there and have a look. You're welcome to follow me on social media, Susan Leigh. So feel free, enjoy, and we'll speak again, I'm sure.
thank you. See you next week.
See
Bye
you
bye.
next week.
Bye. Hello, guys. Yeah, that was Susan Lee. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she? She's got a lot of advice to give, isn't she? She's a really nice person, and thank you very much for coming and joining me again. Okay, I'm going to be back around about 9 o'clock. In the meantime, see you later. Bye bye.